Welcome to StoryShare 2025. I'm Allie Lightfoot. I'm the executive director here at the Blue Sage Center for the Arts. And thank you. Thank you. This big deal event is put on by a team of people, and I just want to acknowledge them right off the bat. It starts with the Blue Sage Literary Committee. And this is a group of people who've been putting on literary events, including Harvest of Voices, for many years, and really could not do it without them in terms of just the organization and then also selecting participants and that kind of thing. I really want to thank Playback Theatre, actually. They've really helped shape this event in so many ways, and they love this community so much. So whenever they have an opportunity to come here, they really enjoy it, and I feel like they understand us over here. They get us. They've been sort of acting out our life stories now for about 5 years. So, and they get that the North Fork is a gem. Of course, I have to mention Deborah Musiker, the previous ED who invented this amazing thing. Yep. And we made a little documentary about StoryShare, and she said that it was the thing she was the most proud of in her whole career. And I can see why. So not to like overhype it for some of you that haven't seen it before, but it honors our community members in this amazing way. It's a gift. And giving art, music, dance, and theater to each other is kind of our thing around here. And I really feel like this event puts that all into action. A theme, in fact, in tonight's story share and some of the stories, and I don't think I'm giving too much away, but it's really about how this place gives people space to explore their creative talent and their gifts. And you can see what stars we have in the show tonight. Boyd Boland, Sarah Bishop, and Claudia King are our story sharers this evening. And here's the thing. You should all be members of the Blue Sage if you aren't already. You can do it at $5 a month. And in fact, we love it if you're doing it monthly. $10 a month, $20, whatever you can afford, but really just $5 a month if your budget is tight. There are QR codes. You can do it with us just right here at the Blue Sage anytime. We can help you sign up. And I know that we're all trying to do a lot right now to hold things together and probably have other projects that we're trying to support. But it is a really amazing art center, and it has been for 25 years, and it really takes just $5 a month from a lot of people to keep the doors open and also get some fun member benefits like a big member party. So that wraps up my speech. And tonight we're going to celebrate these 3 community members who love this valley and have had impact in a lot of different ways. Again, Boyd Boland, we'll begin with Boyd, Sarah Bishop, and then Claudia King will be our last sharer. And if you haven't seen this show before, you'll see a video of their story, which I'm about to play. And then the writer who is inspired by their life story will get up and read a written piece. And then an artist will present them with a work of art. And then if that's not enough for you all, we have a theater company that comes up here and acts out their life with some improv theater. And we have a wonderful person who's done this before who takes us through this journey. And that is MC Carolyn Ringo. Carolyn's been, yes.
Hello. I saw a lot of familiar faces before, and I was going to say it's so nice to see them, but I can't see any of you. But I know you're out there. It's wonderful that we're all here together. I feel really honored to be able to help facilitate this wonderful annual program again. So our first, as Ali said, our first community member to share his story tonight is Boyd Boland. Would you like to stand, Boyd?
I'm Boyd Boland. My father was Norman Boland. My mother was Mary Boland. I was their fourth and last child and their only son. My mother grew up living a comfortable life in Denver, and she graduated from the University of Colorado in 1937. Meanwhile, my father grew up in Cass County in East Texas, where his father was a sharecropper, and my father spent his youth in the cotton fields. He graduated with a horticulture degree from Texas A&M in 1939. He was the first of his family to graduate from college and also the first to graduate from high school. My parents met in Ticasati, Guatemala at the United Fruit Company plantation where they grew bananas. My mother, who was fluent in Spanish, taught the native children, and my father was in charge of the tire shop. They met at Thanksgiving time as my father threw plug nickels at my mother at the club, trying to catch her attention, which led eventually to my mother walking over and suggesting that instead of throwing things at her, perhaps she should ask her to dance. They did, and they were married in Dallas, Texas in June of 1941. So in the late winter of 1946, they moved to Rogers Mesa to a tiny little house owned by Mr. McCrory. Mr. McCrory had suggested or advertised in the Rocky Mountain News that he wanted an orchard manager. What he really wanted was a laborer, but my father came anyway. They didn't live long on Rogers Mesa because he didn't plan to manage an orchard, he planned to own one. And so in June of 1946, they purchased a little 50-acre farm on Sunshine Mesa. After the war, my mother very much wanted to buy a fancy car, but there weren't any available. What my father was able to find was a Willys Jeep, which he bought and brought to her at her home in Denver. Smiling, my mother cried. But it turned out the Jeep was one of the greatest purchases they ever made. They brought it with them to the farm where my father used it to power his implements, plows, discs, markers, that sort of thing. And also to haul ice for the icebox and coal for the smoky coal stove. There wasn't electricity at the farm early on, and so that is how the farm was heated and where my mother cooked and where the food was kept. In those days, the Union Fruit Company was a 5-story building, and the room at the very top of the fruit shed was the boxing room. That's where they built the small wooden crates that they packed the fruit in. After the crates were built, they would use essentially wallpaper glue to put the labels on the ends. Then they would slide those boxes down a metal slide to the next level of the packing shed. And sometimes I was in those boxes as they were slid down. After I became a lawyer, my wife suggested to me that I get some of the beautiful labels from the Union Fruit Company for my decorations on my walls. At that time, the fruit shed was owned by Gilbert Wilson, so I went to Gilbert and I asked him, "Do you still have any of those labels?" He said, "Sure," and he took me up to the boxing room. It was just as I remembered, the same smell, apples and oak. And there were piles of labels, a yard high, and Gilbert very carefully gave me 2 of each label. The next year, the building burned down, so I think I have the most complete collection of fruit labels in the valley. The community isn't quite as tightly connected as it was. In those days, the town was rather self-sufficient. I remember Pan American Seed Company, maybe the main company in town, which grew flowers to harvest the seeds. There were stores. McClung's sold men's clothing. Bonnie V sold women's clothing. There was Swisher Jewelry for gifts. Garrett's Department Store. The Brown Cow Malt Shop. Hayes Drug with its fountain. Ben Franklin's Five and Dime. Hayes Drug. Hawkins Insurance. A bakery. A creamery. Sears Roebuck. I worry about the loss of Paonia High School and what impact that will have on our community. But I am optimistic. Paonia has survived so many changes, and it remains a very special place, partly because it is remote, partly because it has a very special character, and it has been successful in finding a new way with value-added agriculture, the wineries, and a thriving art business. I know that Paonia will continue to thrive, and I'm glad to be back and a part of it.
So our writer for Mr. Bolin is Thomas Wills, and he's going to read his interpretation of Boyd's longer story he listened to. I'd like to introduce Thomas. Thomas Wills, who also writes as Lazarus Wills and Lazarus Washburn, is a Colorado native and a resident of the North Fork Valley for the past 35 years. He is an artist, writer, journalist, gardener, former volunteer land use planner, former Hotchkiss Town trustee for 13 years, editor and co-publisher of the North Fork Merchant Herald since 1996. He previously owned and operated Will's Gallery and used books in Hotchkiss from 1990 to 2024. This fiction piece is from the mythical town of Anthracite.
Good evening. I'm glad I printed this out in 20-point print. I'm getting a little older. I heard Boyd do his presentation twice, once by the recording and once at the Hotchkiss Crawford Historical Society. And my inspiration came from the story of returnees, people who leave pretty much for their careers and come back with fresh eyes. This is a fiction story based in the town of Anthracite, so it's not about here, but it follows the theme of returnees. Anthracite native returns to Valley after half a century. This is from the West Elk Bugle newspaper from May 26, 2024. Of course, this is a fictional presentation of a news story. Lisa Cross Albert graduated from Anthracite High School almost exactly 50 years ago this past week. To celebrate or remember that event and the half century since, Albert, mostly retired from the film industry and newly returned resident of the area, was invited to give the commencement address for the graduates of the class of 2024. She used as her general theme the class motto of "Fearless into the future." She began her address with this, quote, "In the May of 1974, I graduated from the school, which has been renovated a lot. It's hard for me to recognize the old parts in with the new. I graduated before any of the graduates or students here today had been born, and maybe before your parents were born. If I had stayed in this place, I could have been someone here's grandmother. I wonder a lot about who and what I would have been if I had stayed in this place, or returned a lot sooner. I wonder what all of you will be after you leave this place, as most of you students will leave, as I did. Our class of 1974 motto was probably similar to that of millions of other high school classes over the years, off to change the world. The real secret motto of our class, and probably this class as well, is we're pretty scared, but also excited. Or something like that, fearful into the future. I was certainly scared and excited, but also could not wait to get out of here. Out of what seemed a small, dull, insular, provincial place. That's how I saw it at the time, and how I remembered it for decades while living in New York and California. The world of 1974 we were heading out into was pretty concerning, as is the world today. The world population was approaching 4 billion in 1974. We are now double that, close to 8 billion. Inflation was going nuts in 1974, as is a concern in 2024. 1974 was Watergate and Nixon resigning as president. There was a war between Syria and Israel. Some of our older brothers and sisters went off to college, became disillusioned, and turned in, and dropped out for a while, as had been happening since the 1960s. Most just left the valley and ended up living and working somewhere else. A few hippies and back-to-landers were moving into this valley as a sort of hiding place in the early 1970s as we moved out. We thought they were nuts. But here I am back in the valley 50 years later, seeing this place with new eyes that have a lot in common with those long ago 20-something hippies, unquote. Lisa Albert concluded with a plea to the graduates and students of Anthracite High to step back and truly see this place before going out into the world. Then she urged them to go learn what there was to learn, and then consider how to use what they have learned and earned to come back here and create a quality, sustainable, creative life. Have a goal of acquiring knowledge and skills that make up a living in this amazing place you grew up in, she said. Don't abandon the valley like I did for most of my adult life, Albert said, to applause that seemed to come more from the parents and the adults in the audience than from the students. In interviews, first in a booth at the Chicken Abortionist Cafe and later at her home, Albert remembered her childhood in Anthracite and touched on her life in the entertainment industry. I was a poor student, she remembered. I wasn't interested in most things in school and barely passed. I graduated at the bottom third of my class. Art and writing were my thing. Regarding her being descended from two of the major pioneer families of the town and county, the Alberts and the Crosses, the names commemorated on two of the central Anthracite streets, Albert just shrugs. It was kind of embarrassing when I was a kid. We were a pioneer family, but my mom ran the laundromat, and my dad worked on the county road department. I get kind of more of a kick out of history now. Albert, after spending aimless years in California, finally ended up taking courses at a community college where she met a part-time teacher who worked also in the film industry. The woman helped her get into an apprentice program centered around set design and location dressing, and Albert found an outlet for her passion and for creativity. After a career of some 35 years, married and divorced twice, Albert, 67, is semi-retired and spends most of her time in Anthracite, renovating a house that was built by her great-grandfather and enjoying the rediscovery of her hometown. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. And now we have Dion Holt to present her artistic work inspired by Boyd's story. Dion is a Colorado landscape painter based between Hotchkiss and Marble. She mainly paints from life in the outdoors in both oil and gouache. Dion is originally from Australia and left a career as an engineer 4 years ago to paint full-time. Dion?
Thank you. So the story that resonated the most with me and the image that stuck in my head was that of Boyd sliding down the slide from the top of the packing house. And so my painting is somewhat in the style of the vintage fruit labels for the boxes. And I've tried to honor his family in this painting. So I don't know if Boyd, if you wanted to come up. Boyd, if you wanted to come up, I'd like to present this to you. So I've got an image of a child, at least sliding down in a fruit box. And then I've tried to capture the agricultural threads of your family from East Texas with the cotton plantations, the banana plantations in Guatemala, and the apples of this valley. And then, of course, it wouldn't be Pioneer without peonies, so I had to include those.
My mother would say, "Oh my."
Whoops. And now, are you ready for a totally improvisational interpretation of this story? We have CU Impact Playback Theatre.
This is a time of change. This is a time of firsts. Some of you are graduating college for the first time. Some of you have graduated high school, the first in your families. I think you will go and change the world.
Off to change the world.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Off to change the world, fearless into the future.
To Guatemala? Let's go.
Guatemala?
Guatemala.
That's a long way from Paonia.
Well,
I mean, not that I'm fearful or anything. I did just
hablo
accomplish
español.
a major accomplishment, you know. You think Guatemala, huh? All right.
Vamos.
Vamos, chica. That's where we met, of course.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco.
She seemed to always have it
Repita, por
together.
favor.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis.
Seis.
Cinco.
Perfecto.
Plug nickels.
Maybe you'd like to ask me to dance instead?
Heck yeah. Como se dice heck yeah?
Vamos!
Vamos a bailar. And that's how it started. Do you remember when we came back and the war was over?
Oh my God, I wanted a nice car, a
nice-
beautiful, wonderful car, brand new, fancy.
Fancy
You know, I
schmancy.
came from an affluent upbringing.
Yeah.
Remember that, honey.
Sorry.
You got me instead.
I'm telling you.
This
old beat, but sweetie, think of the coal we can load. Think of the ice we can lay in.
Get on. You'll see.
Get on, sweetheart.
You could be useful. Let's go.
You have experience in fruit, right?
Fruit? Well, I grew up riding in fruit. Well, no, it's coming.
Not yet.
It's not yet. It's coming. Well, yes, I do.
All right. Well, do I have a deal for you?
Yeah?
How would you like to be my fruit manager? Oh, laborer.
Yeah, I can manage things.
All right.
Yeah.
Labor.
Yeah. Well, it's getting a foot in the door, in this case in the soil, because this is just the first step. We're going to own our own. We're going to sell out Mr. McCrory and get our
We
own
are.
orchard. Heck yeah, with that Jeep, I'm telling you.
It's all the Jeep. It's all the
I'm
Jeep.
telling you. Just wait. It's coming. Yeah, right? Thanks. Atta girl. And we did. We put our sweat into the soil. We made it happen. And I remember, and then we had kids of our own.
4 to be exact.
Close enough. Well, Boyd was hard to find. He was usually up in the top level of the shed, if you know what I'm talking about.
Boyd? Boyd, where are ya?
We need some more boxes down here. Can we get some more? Oh,
Oh my gosh! Thank you, I swear. Oh my gosh!
Okay. It was where it all happened, you know. The glue that holds these labels on, the work that holds our community together, the memories that hold together a life. Yeah, those labels, still in my office. I got them all around. I'll never forget when I went and collected a few. Pile of tea or so.
You're interested in the labels?
Why,
Here.
yes, please.
There you go.
I will guard them with my life.
This is a good one.
I mean, there's plenty, so I don't need to worry about it, but yeah, this is perfect. Thank you. Wow. And I held on to them. And then the next year I heard these things happen in the community. And we get to choose what we hold on to sometimes. In this case, it feels like I was chosen. Some things hold us together. Some things we got to hold on to.
The community was so self-sufficient. We had a bakery and a general store and the brown cow malt shop.
Oh, the brown cow malt shop. That was something, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
We had so much self-sustaining agriculture, fruit. Where are the apples? I ate them all, sorry.
Oh.
There's one left.
Best apples you'll ever taste.
But the bonds of the community feel a little more strange than they used to. A little bit farther apart. Closing of the high school was a hard one.
But there's something that keeps this place going.
I'm an optimist. We're optimists.
Yeah,
A special character.
Thriving with arts and wineries and new people and becoming something exquisite.
And art centers that draw people in to come and hear art and celebrate this history and celebrate community. Can you imagine where else in a rural community you're going to find this?
Graduates, you will go forth and you will come home and change this place.
Fearless into the future.
Sarah Bishop is our next honored guest. I have witnessed the endless, selfless giving person Sarah is for the 14 years that I've lived here. I know she's been a community support person for much longer than that. Sarah, would you please stand up? I don't know where you are. There she is.
My name is Sarah Bishop. I first discovered the North Fork in probably 1985 when my husband and I were driving around this part of the state trying to decide where we wanted to end up. At the time we were living in Washington, D.C., and that was clearly not where we wanted to end up. So in probably 1987, we flew into Grand Junction, rented a car, drove over Grand Mesa, and turned left instead of right. And as one might say, the rest is history, except that it's not really history. It's just what's been the rest of my life. The other thing that drew us here, frankly, was as we drove over the Grand Mesa and turned left instead of right, was we discovered the local radio station, KVNF. And we said, we can live here. It's got public radio. That's important to us. We built a house here in let's see, we started it in 1993, and unfortunately it was right in the middle of what was called the Wake Fire in 1994. So we had a new mission in life, which was to do whatever we could to recover the landscape after we rebuilt our house. When Bill and I first came to the community, and we're full-time residents here, each of us found a number of organizations that we were very interested in, and I discovered the Blue Sage at that point. And what thrilled me after having come from Washington, D.C. was you didn't have to know someone, be someone, or have a lot of money in order to participate. It was, are you interested? Show up. And I reveled with that attitude and quickly was drafted onto the board of directors of this fine institution. I have yet to retire. I sometimes consider myself to be a pathological volunteer. I stopped earning income, if that's the definition of retirement, okay. But I'm heavily invested in several organizations in the Valley, which keep me rather busy. The primary one is the Rotary Club of the North Fork Valley. I've been president twice. I've been a member since 2000. Another organization in which I'm heavily invested is the North Fork Community Choir. And then the third organization I'm involved with is the local Methodist Church that I find very invigorating and mind-expanding. I should probably talk a little bit about Mountain Harvest Festival. So from 2009 to, I believe it was 2016, both Bill and I were very active in the leadership of that organization. I was president for a number of years. Now that the festival has moved on to other leadership and other emphases, it still has the kernel of what we supported so many years ago. And I'm pleased. It's just an important part of this community's fabric. I think it was, if it wasn't the first film festival, it was the first one I went to. And I decided that I wanted to go in a costume, and I wanted to be somebody other than myself. I sometimes surprise myself that way because I'm somewhat introverted when it comes to being expressive in that way. But I got a wig from Helen Highwater, and she did a fabulous job of makeup. And I tried to do a British accent, and I wore probably a 1950s dress. A lot of people didn't recognize me. In fact, when I approached one of my very dear friends and sort of cozied up to her, she all but brushed me off until she finally figured out who I was, and she came rushing over to apologize, and I could not help but roll in the aisle laughing. You can try things out here without fear of embarrassment or failure. You may be embarrassed and you may fail, but so what? People aren't going to hold it against you. You just go on and do the next thing. When you lose your husband and your very best friend, you need to, or at least I felt I needed to step back and say, what is the rest of my life going to be like? He and I were almost too much alike in that we did everything together except our professional lives. We had a group of friends and activities that we did together. But life goes on. Even in the most turbulent of times, and I think right now we're going through quite a bit of turbulence, this valley has everything I need. There are all kinds of words that one could use. It's funky. It's old-fashioned. It's very progressive in some areas. The music scene here is incredible. For a small community, it has an awful lot of things going on. And more I'm seeing an understanding, a blending, an acceptance of the differences and reveling in it. We're a very diverse community, and it's fun to be in that environment.
Our writer for Sarah is our wonderful bookstore owner, Emily Sinclair. Emily is a bookseller, a popular teacher, I added the word popular, teacher and writer. Emily lives with her husband, goats, and herding dogs on a farm on Stewart Mesa, where she is becoming increasingly feral. In her spare time, she likes to wander the wild places with her sketchbook. Emily? All right, I'll just wing it. Migration. An elk moves through forest and field. Her great eyes sweep the landscape, seeking assurances of safety, perhaps shelter. She assesses risk, abundance of food. She lifts her head, her jaw juts forward. In her eyes is a question. Should she move ahead or turn back? There's a rustle of leaves, a breaking branch. Her coat is thick, tan. It camouflages her and leaves her indistinct, hidden. She believes she is safe, but you never know. A large mammal, she is both majestic and gentle. If you had not seen an elk, you would be forgiven for thinking her fierce, or for looking at her long, elegant head and strong body and thinking she was one of the gods of our wild shared spaces. But in truth, she is shy. She grazes, nipping at grasses, her jaw grinding her forage. In summer, she moves up to altitude in search of food, and in winter, she comes down to the valley, often following the same route year after year. She needs space. She needs for her home to be vast. Every animal moves, migrates, calculating risk and refuge. Migration is a behavioral adaptation that allows species to survive, even thrive. By starlight and moon, by scent on wind, by intuition and intelligence, animals move across landscapes, often traveling great distances. Not every animal survives a long journey. With the flick of a fin, the salmon swims downstream to the ocean and then back upstream to lay her eggs. An Arctic tern flies more than 25,000 miles a year, chasing summer from the Arctic to the Antarctic and back again. The monarch butterfly travels at least 3,000 miles, a festival of tiny wings on air. Among wolf packs, group dispersal occurs when a mated pair leave their former pack and establish new territory. The wolf's territory covers hundreds of miles marked by sun and star and scent. Abundant food sources, rivers, and streams tell the pair, "You will be well here." Sometimes a creature navigates by listening, catching a sound of some reassuring call and taking a left off the Grand Mesa, dropping down through Cedar Edge and Austin along the dry ochre hills of the Dobies. Imagine perhaps a fox in the North Fork, building a den to return to year after year. She pads along the mesa's edge, sun on her face, seeing the glint of river along the valley fuller below. In the shade of a large juniper, she stops, wraps her tail around herself, and observes. A meal in the form of a rabbit or mouse skitters and jumps. The grasses wave. Our fox is alert, prepared to leap. But then there is nothing, and she curls up under the rough branches of a juniper, resting, eyes slightly open. Perhaps there will be a small beetle to eat. She's comfortable here. She will stay. Ecologists tell us that habitat is a complex and delicate system of interactions from microbe to insect, from seed to blossom, from pack rat to lion. Animals sense fire before it comes, the way the winds whip heat and smoke into an inferno, the way the air grows thick in the skin and fur prickle. They run or stand in streams if they can. They take cover under logs and rocks or bury themselves in the dirt. But there's no escaping loss for any animal, not for the feathered or the finned, not for the four or two-legged. Sometimes the beaver's lodge is washed away in spring floods. Sometimes shelter becomes ash, making structures into blackened sticks. But ash feeds the soil and creates new growth. For better or worse, each new creature makes a place, and in turn, the place makes the creature. Eat or be eaten. The skunk's diet is composed of smaller animals like mice and voles, but also grasshoppers and beetles. The mule deer feeds on flowering plants and leaves and twigs. The mountain lion feeds on the mule deer. The snake is both predator and prey. The beaver gnaws, and felled trees increase the health of riparian environments, feeding soil, cooling surface temperatures, creating habitats for fish and land animals. The beaver's work creates habitat for others. She slaps her tail on the water and says, I need to be involved. Let's build this dam. Let's get to chewing. In early spring, under full moon, you can hear the coyotes yip and howl. Every animal understands that vitality is the central thing, perhaps the only thing, really, because what matters is the survival of the group. Here, says the howl, here's the group, here's the meat, follow the sound of our voices. Altruistic behavior is common throughout the animal kingdom, particularly in species with complex social structures. For example, vampire bats regularly regurgitate blood and donate it to other members of their group who have failed to feed that night, ensuring that they do not starve. In numerous bird species, a breeding pair receives help in raising its young from other helper birds who protect the nest from predators and help to feed the fledglings. Vervet monkeys give alarm calls to warn fellow monkeys of the presence of predators, even though in doing so they attract attention to themselves. African parrots, trained to exchange tokens for food, will give their tokens to fellow parrots. Altruism increases the colony's chance for survival. And what of the interior and emotional life of the animal? Give an elephant a stick, and she'll draw images in the dirt. And given a choice, the elephant has preferences for color. Thanks to the field of biomusicality, we know that chimpanzees, with whom we share a common ancestor from some 5 to 10 million years ago, have a musical beat perception. So does Snowball, a sulfur-crusted cockatoo seen dancing to the Backstreet Boys on YouTube. And Ronan, a female California sea lion who grooves to Boogie Wonderland. The male humpback whale produces complex songs with structures, looping sequences of melodies and repeating end phrases. Male chimpanzees dance with joy and abandon at waterfalls. Some animal species mate for life, especially birds like the African parrot. Wolf pairs are power couples, ensuring their positions as pack leaders through their alliances. Ever transactional, beavers sustain each other through shared workloads, building dams and lodges and guarding territory. Paired gibbons perform duets, vocal cries that combine their individual mating calls into a single song that's intrinsic to their relationship. Elephants grieve in silence, save for the sound of air moving through their trunks, water pouring from the temporal glands near their eyes. It is spring. On moody evenings, mourning doves call. In the distance, cattle low. Along pond banks, frogs peep, awakening after wintering over in mud. There is so much I do not know. Except this, migration is an expression of what is wild within us. In every exemplary life is something more than human, something animal. Thank you, Emily. Now we will see and hear about Frankie Zinke's artistic interpretation of Sarah's wonderful story. Frankie is a thriving artist, nourished and inspired by this creative community we call Paonia. Her heart is an exploration of the animals within and around us, an honoring of plant people and tree kin, dragon spirits and mythic realms. She's passionate about unlocking and unleashing creativity, especially in those who have forgotten and in places that have been desecrated. Frankie lives for art. You are art.
Hi. So after hearing your story, Sarah, I felt very akin to you. Like, we have a lot in common. So this was pretty easy for me to do. And I hope you like it. And this is it. So I heard someone once say that Paonia is the town of lilacs, but that's up for debate. And you mentioned Paonia being like a safe bubble where we can all take care of each other and are fully provided for by the land and what it grows. And I feel like the rainbow is that bubble. And I walked outside while I was painting this because I had a feeling that there was a rainbow, and there was. And I do want to admit that I saved this for the last minute. The day before it was due, I started painting it and finished 9 hours later. And I don't know, sometimes deadlines just have that kind of magic. So, yeah, Sarah, if you want to come up, I would love to give this to you.
How could Frankie possibly know that from my vantage point on Wakefield Mesa, a double rainbow is always special, and I cannot tell you how many times I've actually seen one from there. You are amazing. Thank you so very much. You and I need to get to know each other. Thank you. Let me give you a hug.
And now, prepare for the genius of playback theater.
I don't know where I'm going. Do we go left or do we go right?
Left.
Left it is. This station's good.
You know, you've always talked about wanting a public radio station.
It's something I value.
Rainbow.
Double rainbow. Wow. Oh, incredible.
This is nice.
This is nice.
This is really nice.
It's really nice.
You know, Sarah, I think this place has everything we need.
Indeed. You know, I do have a need, though, as a pathological volunteer. How can I help? Who has something I can do?
Welcome to the Blue Sage.
Thank you.
You're interested?
Absolutely.
Well, show up.
Look at this space. It's incredible.
Rotary Club?
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful.
What do you need?
President? Wonderful. Thank you.
Let's do this again sometime. I love the fact that you don't have to have money or be someone or know someone. You can just show up.
Does that mean I can be like you?
Absolutely. What do
We
you
were
want to do?
waiting for you.
I want to be a part of this community that has heart, that has soul. Can I do that?
Yes. Remember, you can do anything. You won't fail, or I mean, you will fail and be embarrassed, but no one's going to hold it against you. Absolutely. Welcome.
So for the film festival, you want to
Yes.
dress up?
Absolutely.
Have I got the wig for you?
Oh, yes, please.
Stay still.
All right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh sweetheart. Oh. Oh yeah. You are gonna knock him dead.
I wonder if
beautiful.
Sarah's coming. I haven't seen Sarah. I know.
Slip this
How
on.
strange.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go.
No.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was good. Hello, can I get a seat here?
Please go. I don't know you.
Are you sure?
You can be anyone in Paonia.
Sorry about that. No, that's right, I get embarrassed. No one has it against you.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry. I didn't even recognize you. What is this? Sarah! It's Sarah! You really can be anything or anyone you want to be here.
Yes, well done you. You can fail, nobody holds it against you.
Nobody holds it against you.
Oh, by the way, Rotary Club called, second term.
Done.
How do you do it?
I don't know. You build things because you have people that support you. You build a home, and there's a fire, and you rebuild. But I have everything I need here.
You sound a whole lot like me.
Absolutely.
Keeps happening.
It does.
How about that?
It's time to go, Bill.
Life goes on.
Life goes on. The thing I love about this community is its diversity. The people who are here and the people we welcome here and the things that we built together are truly incredible.
Can we be funky here?
Oh, you can be funky.
I can be funky here?
Well, funkiest.
Hi.
We can be a little old
How about old-fashioned?
Absolutely.
I'm funky.
All right, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are so human and beautiful, we're just a little animal.
I'm gonna let my inner chimpanzee out if y'all are. Protect the herd.
Claudia King is our next and last contributing community member for the evening. Ms. King is an incredible example of a vital, active, elder woman for those of us following in her wake. Claudia, will you please stand?
You know, I spent, during childhood, a lot of time in a great big huge cottonwood tree on Onagra. We had tree houses, and we had one tree that had a hotel in it. We actually had little tiny tree houses, and we had a lobby. And so that was a big thing. Of course, I got to go to Paonia High School. I got to be in the drama, got to do a little journalism on the Eagle staff, was the editor of the yearbook, which kind of got me started on just liking publications and liking writing and pictures and that sort of thing. I would call it a wholesome time, and it was safe. I mean, we played from Onagra Street clear to the east end of town, and we spent a lot of time at the Paonia Park, and we swam in the canals, and we just had a kind of an idyllic kind of a childhood. And then the high school years, of course, there were sports always. Paonia was a big sports town, so but the girls had to support the boys. We didn't really have much, you know, in the way of sports for us. So we had a huge pep club, and they took roll call, and we had some cheerleaders, and we just supported, you know, the boys in our class with the sport. Just as I was getting ready to go to college, there was a young coach that arrived. His name was Granville King. He was coaching at Hotchkiss High School at that time. We had a bowling alley up here, and I was just out of high school, and at the bowling alley, I met him. And so I was going away to school, but we kind of kept the flame going a little bit, you know. And I was pretty young. I went to college at 17. But by the time I was a sophomore in college, I was engaged to him. And of course, he had come to Paonia High School. And our first year of marriage, his football team won the state championship of Colorado. Well, it was pretty exciting because we had Travis and we had Carla. So I sort of had those super mom type years that were hectic, but I just loved them. And I was involved just with the Scouts. I did Brownie Scouts for my daughter, and I did Cub Scouts for my son. And we were going over to Sunlight to ski. And this actually was after the kids had graduated from high school and my son from college. And we had an accident. There was a slick bridge, and the car tipped over into a canal. The canal was, of course, in winter mode without water, but my husband's neck was broken just from the impact from the top of the car, you know, caved, and I was okay. I remained in Paonia because my friends were in Paonia, and I really had an affinity for Paonia too. I loved it, and I did have to kind of reestablish myself though as an entity, because I think my entity was kind of caught up with my husband's. We were sort of a collective entity. And so I did have to kind of become my own person. And so I worked on that for about 30 years. I found out I liked adventure. So there was a period when I was doing some traveling, and I wasn't just traveling conventionally to a hotel someplace. I was out doing a little backpacking in Turkey, and I went to Costa Rica, which at that time was a third world country. And I went to Machu Picchu because it was a bucket list. And I live right under Mount Lambert. So I see the beauty every day, and it's like ever beautiful, ever changing. You know, it's just, to live out here it's really a special experience, because I think a lot of local people that are, you know, maybe from the 50s, they experienced that some because they kind of wanted to keep it as it was. And so I have kind of enjoyed actually seeing what Peonia has become. I don't know, I really like the rural living, the emphasis just on family, on, I think, even work ethic for me. You know, I mean, if you're out here, you probably have to work pretty hard to stay, because you're not going to be compensated really with money. There's something else. There's a different kind of compensation, and maybe at the heart level.
Laura Lee Yates has written a story interpreting Claudia's own story. Sometimes Laura Lee feels like a Peonia old-timer because she's so entangled in this town, or maybe she just feels old. If life goes according to plan, which of course it always does, Laura Lee will be doing a lot more writing in the near future. In 2017, she traveled solo to the Outer Hebrides, the west coast of Ireland, England, Morocco, and Andalusian Spain, and is currently struggling against the Inquisition in the final volume of her historical trilogy set in all of those places during the 16th century. And I've read a couple of them, they're great.
I have a big voice.
You have a big voice.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I don't have to do that technological thing of stuff. And I wish I'd done 20-point type too, Tom. So when I watched Claudia's video, I just got stuck right away. I made it through, you know, the first 30 seconds, and I was all, that's what I'm going to write about. So picture Claudia a few years ago when she was 9. So this is called A Snowstorm in June. Now you listen to me, Willis Sutcliffe, and stay put. Don't you dare go past Robin Nest Hollow. Since Daddy, who's a fruit packer here in the North Fork Valley, is pretty tall, I figure it won't be long before my brother gets bigger than I am. But Willis is 3 years younger, only 6, and he ought to mind me. Some of the limbs above the lobby of our Cottonwood Hotel, which is what we named our favorite tree in our Onarga neighborhood, are just too skinny to support his weight. Especially since Willis loves Mother's homemade ice cream, most of all when she mixes in fresh local peaches, or if there's not a frost at the wrong time, ripe cherries churned into thick yellow cream from the Jersey cow. Ah, hush up, you old bookworm, Willis yells back. I can go as high as I want, and you can't stop me. I sigh. He's right. Even though it's my job to run the lobby of the Cottonwood Hotel, assigning the guests, who are all kids in the neighborhood, to the rooms we built on the sturdiest branches of big old cottonwood, I can't seem to keep Willis in line all the time. He wasn't much help building the platform for the lobby or the walls, since he's no good with a hammer, unlike me. But he did go round to the neighbors, even the old lady with the mean German Shepherd dog, whose eyes turn red when he's going to attack. And Willis scrounged most of the discarded wood we needed for a big project. Daddy says he did a pretty good job of construction that we did, and it ought to hold up for a while, as long as we don't let big people like Bubbles Bross be guests. Bubbles' family has its own hotel anyway, a lot fancier than ours. They have 10 rooms, while we only have 4, and ours mostly don't have roofs. The Ross Hotel is where grown-ups and their families stay if they come visiting. I did this again. If they come visiting to Paonia, riding the passenger train all the way from Delta. They even have entertainment at their hotel since Libby Atkins plays honky-tonk piano. Folks say Bubbles Bros drinks too much, but every time I cross his path on the way to pick up our mail at the post office, he gives me a big piece of that new bazooka gum. We stand on the corner, both of us grinning and chewing and grinning. And even though I blow the best pink bubbles I can, he always blows his twice as big. Sometimes he tells me I have pretty yellow hair, which makes me go all shy. Boys are bad enough, but grown men, I'd rather hide in this tree. I like sitting here in the Cottonwood Hotel, listening to the train conductor blow the whistle as it's hauling fruit my daddy picked to faraway markets. I remember when I was 5 and how we all jumped up and down and hugged each other that the war was over. And they kept that whistle blowing on and on. The strong arms of this Onarga Cottonwood are a great place to read. Willis is right about one thing. I am a bookworm. Our library, tucked in beside the Paradise Theater, it isn't very big, but I'll bet I've read every book in the place, at least the ones the nice librarian considers suitable for a young girl. Perhaps I'll be a librarian when I grow up, or maybe a teacher. I just love my English teacher who rode the narrow gauge railroad from the university in Denver to Paonia, but then she got married, and so she lost her job, which doesn't seem fair. Could I be a librarian and a teacher, and maybe even write a book? I'm going to go to college for sure. Even though I'm only 9, I'm already saving up. Mother's good at thinking of ways for me to make money. When I wove potholders out of those loops all the colors of a rainbow, she bought the ones nobody else picked. Daddy's sister, who's one of those fundamentalists, says my mother, Irene, is well-bred, like she's some kind of fancy thoroughbred horse, and is an intellectual just because she doesn't say ain't. I think Mother's really pretty, and I like how she encourages me to have adventures. Some of my friends come from families that preach fear of spiders and tramps and anything that could possibly be sinful, which is pretty much all the fun stuff. In the winter, when the snow's good, those kids don't even get to go sledding on McNutt's Hill. One of the bigger boys sledded all the way down and couldn't stop even when he got to the northbound train. We were scared he'd be lying there squished and bloody on the tracks when the train passed on, but he sledded right between the sets of wheels under the baggage car, and he didn't get hurt one bit. "Don't you be trying a stunt like that," Daddy said, and I told him I'm not that crazy. I guess cottonwood trees are sort of like old folks. After many years, their bark turns gray and gets deep furrows like the lines beside Mrs. Gillenwater's mouth. Cottonwoods don't last forever, I understand that. But while they're here, they really live, tossing their cotton over everybody's lawns like a snowstorm in June, spreading their seeds far and wide, and standing up tall to wind and hail and blizzard. Someday I'll be one of those elders, and I'll be tough too, and brave, regardless of what comes. You can count on it.
Thank you. And now Sandy York will be the presenter for her work of art interpreting Claudia's story. Sandy received her art degree from Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama. She is many archetypes: mother, grandmother, therapist, artist, writer, hiker, and mountain biker. And all give her pleasure with love and passion. And she was delighted to be asked to create a special piece for her wonderful friend, Claudia King. It is with much warmth and love, a creation from her heart and soul, poured into the many hours and days it took in the making. Sandy York.
This was easy. I mean, we all just stuck to the trees, didn't we? I mean, really. But I have to really tell you, what I thought of when I listened to you and talked to you and been in church with you was like that amazing ability to actually connect to everybody. And so I did the Tree of Life for you. And on the back, it's engraved in here, dedicated, Tree of Life dedicated to Claudia King. The reason why I chose the Tree of Life, it is a connection between earth and heaven. And that steady trunk in between as a conduit, bringing love and light down to heaven. And if there was any lady in this whole town that not only lives in the Spirit, she walks in the Spirit. She's an inspiration to me. And when I was talking to her on the phone, I said, you know, I just want to be just like you when I grow up. And she goes, we're never going to grow up. And I said, and maybe in our body, but in our heart and soul, we'll just stay young forever, aren't we? Yeah? So in here, this is carved from black clay. And I have to thank my good friend Rebecca because she actually fired it for me. And it's not an easy task to do this. It took me about 2 months to do it. And that's carving it and then drying it and then firing it and then waiting and firing it again. And we prayed over this day and night because I was going like, please don't break on the last firing. Please don't break on the last firing, because I really didn't have the time to start it over. So I was just going to go to my paints if I had to and do a Tree of Life. But it does have copper leaves on it, and it has 2 here for Granville and you down at the bottom, and your family surrounding the tree. And the copper leaves are actually engraved with things that you mentioned. Treehouse vacancies on here, Paonia Highs on here. All of your children on here, your grandchildren are on here, your great-grandchildren are on here. Yeah, Willis is on here per your request. So, I mean, I got as much on here as I could before I ran out of leaves and spaces. We did go to the back. It is here, dedicated to Claudia. This is my name right here. Love Rebecca is on here because Rebecca was instrumental in helping us put this together. And then my favorite verse, which anybody that goes to United Methodist Church in Paonia in the corner over here knows, is Ephesians 4, and that's engraved in here. And that's my skill, my gift, given by grace, dedicated to you in the name of our Lord. You're so awesome. All right, it's kind of heavy. You want me to take it down?
I think I can handle it.
It is kind of heavy going down.
Thank you so much. I just have enjoyed the evening so much, and it's an honor to be here with Sarah and Boyd.
I'll turn the stage over once again to the amazing CU Playback Theatre, giving us another perspective on Miss King. But first, since we are going to let the theater troupe close the evening in here, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Allie, our producer for the evening. And I'd also like to encourage you or remind you about the surveys in the back, where you can not only talk about, share about your experience for the evening, but if you have anybody you want to see honored in this way next year, you can let us know on that. And you are invited, as Allie said, to a reception in the gallery just after we close in here. We have Mesa Winds, catered appetizers, or really desserts, and non-alcoholic beverages for everyone. So thank you much.
Drink! Woo! How's it fun? Oh my gosh. Okay, treehouse. Woo! I can go as high as I want to, and you can't stop me, Willis. It's nice to read up here. I am a bookworm after all. We should make a hotel in here. Let's do it. Come on, guys. Let's get to work.
Just don't have double floss up here, will you?
No, he'll break it.
Yeah,
he'll break you.
Yeah.
We don't want that. Oh my gosh, guys, it looks amazing. Our hotel is totally better than the rest of theirs.
We don't have roofs.
It's better that way.
We got hot and cold air.
Nice and open.
Beautiful views.
Wow.
Sunshine.
I hope we never have to grow up.
I don't think we do.
But now it's time for high school. Wasn't that perfect?
How about some sports? Yeah.
Sports?
You want to do some sports?
Yeah, what
All right, boys. Come on up here, boys.
Oh,
That's all right. That's okay. You can do it on some day.
All right. Go. That's good sport.
Am I allowed to at least bowl?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's go, ladies. Come on. CML Bowling League, let's do it. Ready? That's what I'm talking about. Wait, really? Oh. Be careful. Casual. I'm casual. I'm really casual.
Hey.
What's your name?
Hi. You're leaving town, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going away to school.
You want to stay in touch?
Yeah. We kept this flame going, even though I was off to college, and I was a little young. But by the time I was a sophomore, we were engaged.
That same year, we won the football championship. I have never been happier in my life.
I guess I can support the boys after all. As long as you support my stuff too.
Absolutely.
Mom.
Yes.
You know what you are to me on Mother's Day? Super Mom, a nature cake.
You made me a
Super
cake.
Mom.
Oh, thank you guys. Super Mom.
She's the best.
Yeah, I did the Super Mom thing for a good 18 years. No, it was more than that. They're not done when they're 18, let me tell you. It's been really my whole life that I've been Super Mom.
Thanks for the support, Mom.
Of course, go knock 'em dead.
You helped them figure out who they wanted to be. Who do you want to be? You got about 30 years. I believe in you.
It's a lot to figure out. I don't really fully know. I used to climb in the cottonwood trees. I guess I do like adventure.
Would you like me to book you a room in the most comfortable, the most predictable, and the least exciting hotel in Europe?
Hell no. I'm gonna backpack in Turkey. Can I get another stamp on that passport, please? Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Can't forget Costa Rica. Ooh, that's a good one. All of my travels, my journeys. But you know what? I ended up back in Paonia. There's a reason for that, you know. My friends are here, that's part of it. It's familiar, that's part of it, but
Roots grow strong in a place you call home.
and you know, people who stay here must work hard, because you're not going to get compensated in money. Something different.
Something more valuable.
Something from the heart. Connection, love, adventure, cottonwood trees. I think I'll stay.
Can we give it up for Hannah Jan on the music? And all of our performances are mostly, mix of undergraduate, graduate, newly graduated, and alumni from the University of Colorado. I say this every year. This is our 5th year getting to come here and be a part of this, and it feels like I actually don't have words for what it feels like. I want to thank Allie and everyone who worked so hard to put this on and for including us. I want to give another shout out to our 3 storytellers tonight, right? To our 6 artists, the writers and visual artists. When we come up here, it's starting to feel like home, guys. But this isn't about us. We're going to close the night. We're going to attempt one final offering to you of improvised theater. What are you feeling after this night? All those people that we just saw, the stories we heard.
Love.
Love. Yeah, shout it out. What do you
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Gratitude. Connection.
Humility. Friendship.
Humility?
Yeah.
Nice. Humility.
Community.
Community.
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Authenticity. Beauty.
Authenticity. Beauty.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Courage. Perseverance.
Courage and perseverance.
Hope.
Hope?
Hope.
Hope.
Commitment.
Commitment. Woo, all right. That's a lot. Can we get a recap? What were some of the things we heard?
Courage, perseverance, gratitude,
Connection,
hope,
community,
friendship.
That's enough? All right. We're going to attempt one final offering. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Keep all of these alive. Let's watch.
Sometimes it's not about the new landscape, it's about the new eyes.
It's about the returning. It is good to be back.
Home.
It's about the people.
It's about the work that went into creating the lives and recreating at times.
The love, the friendship,
The connection.
The commitment to community.
The passion.
It doesn't just happen. You have to work hard to be here.
work hard to stay here.
Work hard to love here.
And you get paid back. Dividends.
Not in money.
Well,
No.
who needs that?
But in what really matters.
Art.
Love,
Community.
connection,
hope,
music.
That fuzzy feeling you get when someone smiles at you.
When they know your name at the grocery store. When they ask if you can volunteer and you say, heck yeah.
We don't just build tree houses. We build connection. We build community.
Wouldn't be the same without you all.
Forward into the future.